Good evening everyone and welcome to the second installment of Brownie TV. Mahatma Gandhi once said that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Some have defined social work as art of listening and the science of hope. What is it to you though? Is it just a field that has esoteric qualities that is only privy to the influential, the rich and the powerful? Or is it just a hobby that we get into to pass time? Today we are in conversation with an individual who is very experienced in this field, and we hope will be able to educate us and empower us to take a greater effort in social volunteering. He's a friend, an inspiring character, Mr. Jean-Paul Mouton. Thank you so much for being
here. Hi.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
We just met. Now, from your keen powers of observation, it's clear that you're white. Where are you from?
I am white, yes. I'm from South Africa. And but more recently I was living in Canada, and before that I lived in Taiwan, where I met my partner Denise, and now I'm living here in Borneo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been around there.
Trying to get around the place, yeah.
Favorite place though?
Favorite place? Oof. Bali, Indonesia, Bali probably.
Ah, very beautiful.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite places in the world, I would say.
Alright, I should make it a chance to go there.
Yes.
Now, we need our viewers to get to know you a bit better, because
okay.
Now you're just some random white guy. So,
yeah.
So we're going to pose a few questions to you, and just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Right? First thing, quickly.
All right.
Favorite sport?
To watch rugby, to play, or to do running?
Running.
Yeah, running. You should run.
I should. I should. I've been putting on some.
Big strides.
I do. That's what I've been told. Favorite football team?
Chelsea. CFC.
Why?
For their rich history.
Okay, the rich history, fine. Favorite genre of music?
Lounge.
What type of music is that?
Electronic dance music, but around 120 beats per minute.
Oh, you are so specific.
Yeah.
Favorite hobby?
Cooking.
Cooking,
I love cooking.
Okay, what is the dish that you are most confident in? Like if you cook it, anyone's gonna love it, like that.
Yeah, I make a mean like noodle broth with shiitake mushrooms. You'll be amazed.
I'll be amazed. I'll come home and then you should cook it for me.
Oh.
Favorite movie?
I'm really into documentaries. I don't really watch a lot of movies. My favorite movie, I guess at the moment, is probably Guardians of the Galaxy. But I watch a lot of documentaries, and Blackfish is a current favorite.
Yes, that was a fantastic one, yeah.
Cowspiracy is a current favorite. Veg Educated, Food Incorporated. Okay. Go vegan.
You're a vegan too?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Favorite actress?
Charlize Theron.
Nice. Boom. Favorite book?
The Power of One is probably my favorite book.
The Power of One.
Yeah, it's by a guy called Bryce Courtenay.
Okay. And
it's a story about a guy in South Africa who grows up in the middle of South Africa's very racially discriminative past.
Okay. Wow.
And it's a really powerful book.
Nice. Alright. Power of One. I'll check that out. Now, going back to what the main meat of this interview is basically social work.
Yeah.
And the definition of that, I mean, what I would consider social work for this interview, for our audience, is like social volunteering, creating NGOs, sustaining social enterprises, and those kind of things, whatever that benefits the community we live in.
Okay.
Now, social work has been defined as the art of listening and the science of hope. It's a beautiful definition, I say. But how about to you? What is social work to you?
Social innovation and social entrepreneurship. So I think it comes back to me to a definition of a triple bottom line: people, profit, and planet. That's kind of a widely accepted and well-known definition of what social innovation or social enterprise is. It's businesses, or it doesn't have to be a business entity or a non-profit entity, but that balances the requirements of people, profit, and planet.
Okay, so that's what it is to you. Now, in the current global landscape that we live in, as you know, it's filled with just war, poverty, injustice, wealth gap, climate change, etc. How important do you think is social work in, if not in eradicating these problems, or at the very least helping to improve the general health of our social milieu?
I think social innovation and social entrepreneurship are more important than they've ever been, because some of the areas in the world that are facing the most dramatic problems and challenges are those where income is low and there are few opportunities and few businesses. And as a result, government in those places has very low revenue from taxation. There is no income tax paid by companies because there are such few companies, big corporations do anything. So there isn't a social network or infrastructure that's provided by government to look after people, and sometimes even people's basic needs. I'm talking about, in Africa there's problems of sewage, of clean water, basic human essentials are not provided by the government. Not because the government doesn't want to, but because there just isn't taxation revenue, there isn't, you know, in a lot of extent, we're at square one. And I think in those kind of scenarios, social innovation and social entrepreneurship is, you know, it's a godsend for people. It really allows a country to develop in spite of the limitations. People still have needs and wants, and those needs and wants can be serviced. It's an underserviced market. People all over the world, no matter what their situation, have needs and wants. If an opportunistic entrepreneur can service those needs and wants in a way that takes care of those people and the environment at the same time.
So you're saying that social entrepreneurship or social innovation is basically a way where it can satisfy the needs and wants of the people, at the same time the government of that country, because it provides taxation revenue and creates a sustainable revenue that way and help this way. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think there's a large, people are often, you know, donations and that kind of thing. The old mentality of a way to help people is creates a class of people that are the helped and a class of people that are the helpers, and you know, it becomes self-serving in a way through that, and there is not a hell of a lot of motivation for the people that are being helped to move out of the helped class, and the people that are doing the helping are also doing a lot of it for their own reasons that aren't necessarily. An inclusive framework that allows people that need jobs to have jobs, that services the needs of those people with the products and services that are created, is an inclusive system that works for everyone.
Now you as an individual have played a pivotal role in the marketing, development, promotion of certain of these social enterprises. We've had long conversations about them. Now, can you just give us a few examples of such groups, the ones that really stick out for you?
I think it's definitely flattering me to say that I've had a pivotal role to play. I've been lucky enough and I've been fortunate enough to have worked with some amazing people and been involved in telling their story to a wider audience, and I'm very grateful for that. I'll tell you about three that I think are kind of cool, and they're all unique in their own special way. The first is an organization, probably Msabi. Maybe afterwards I can also provide some links.
Yeah, we'll be adding the links of these companies in the description, so check it out.
Msabi is an organization that's active in Tanzania, and it was started by a fine young man from Australia, Dale Young, and the project manager on the ground there is Nick Holbrook. And in Tanzania, as in large parts of Africa, there is a problem with access to clean water. And but that's not to say that there's not a lot of companies that come. A lot of companies come from the States, for instance, and they drill wells all over the landscape in Tanzania. Drill wells, drill wells, drill wells. Because it's easy to go home and say, well, we drilled this well, and now X number of people have access to clean water for X number of years. You know, and everybody feels good about it. The truth of the matter on the ground is, those wells dry up, they break. The mechanism for getting the water out breaks, there's no maintenance, there's no sustenance. People come, they drill, and they leave. And what Dell and his team have done that I think is really, really cool and really, really innovative, and is a perfect example of what social enterprise or social innovation can be, is they use a community ownership model. So the community owns the well that is drilled in their locality. Excuse me, and more importantly, there's an insurance scheme. Which you might think is a Western or a foreign or a first world concept or whatever you want to call it, that to be used in Africa, but there's insurance on every single well that they drill. And so when the well breaks or there's maintenance that has to be done, there's funds available to make sure that that community isn't left without water, isn't left without a broken well and something breaking. So that's really innovative.
And who pays for this insurance?
The community themselves.
All right.
So it's total community ownership. And it's not, you know, the community is not left in this situation where they're the helped,
Okay.
and they've been helped, and then the help left.
Yeah. So they are basically taking ownership of
their own
life.
future. They've got their own control of it. It's their water points. It's their water source.
This kind of sounds like a new sort of evolution of the whole social work, social entrepreneurship industry. It sounds to me like that, because in the past you've had, like you said, the classes, the helping, and whatever. But now it seems like with these new companies, this company, for example, Musabi, is that Musabi?
Musabi, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like the people own that, and so it becomes like they are empowered in their own lives. I really love it.
I think if you are getting involved in social enterprise or social entrepreneurship, and you're doing it to make money, get out of the game. Get out of the game. It's not about that. Solve your social problems first. That's where your model should be, and make sure that in solving your social problems, that you're sustainable, and that's where the profit comes in. And the profit's a secondary thing. It's not about making profit. It's being able to be sustainable.
Sustainable, exactly.
So you want to be able to provide a solution in a sustainable fashion. Collecting donations is not a sustainable solution.
It's not. It's a very short-term thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. Building a business model that provides consistent income, that's a sustainable solution to a problem.
Exactly, yeah.
Insurance, and it's not just business models, insurance is a sustainable solution for these people. It allows their water points to continue existing. Musabi have done lots of cool things. The poop tanks, I think, is one that I've told you about, which is a really cool idea.
Yeah, it is.
Where there's, so the main method of sanitation really in the area that Musabi working in, the Kilombero Valley, is long drop. There's a long drop toilet, and so kind of when it gets full.
What is long drop?
It's a long drop. It's a toilet with a hole, yeah.
Okay.
And so basically what happens, it's a concrete structure, and then when it's full, you put a concrete lid on it, and these things not litter the countryside.
Okay.
That's not a sustainable solution. It's not a long-term solution. And what they did with poop tanks was it's basically like a cooler that slides under into the latrine. When it gets full, you send a text message to a guy on a bicycle or on a motorbike. He comes, picks up the poop tank, slides a new one in for you, and takes that poop tank, empties the contents, leaves it outside of the sun for 6 months, by which time it's totally usable as fertilizer.
Okay.
Bags it, and then that's a fertilizer. And it's a small, self-sustaining business. It's not huge, but it's solving a sanitation problem, a really very real sanitation problem. So the solution doesn't always have to be elegant or large scale. It can be a very small solution, but it can go right to the core of the problem. And
so like the end justifies the means.
I've got so much innovation that is coming out of Musabi.
And is this is also Musabi?
Musabi, yeah, they actually won the 2014 Creating Shared, no, I beg your pardon, they were the runner-up in the 2014 Creating Shared Value Prize from Nestle. They're doing some really innovative stuff.
You were saying you had more examples.
I think we should talk a little bit about starting small and starting where you are. Recently I was living in Canada for 2 years, and I met two wonderful people there, Colleen Lindemann and Tanya Richardson. And these two ladies, there's a trend that is has swept the United States of extreme couponing, where people, you can cut out coupons and combine them with other coupons and other offers to get stuff for free, for basically, a few cents or for free at stores. And so these ladies decided to collect coupons and then redeem the offers and hand them out, donate them back to the food bank of London, Ontario, which is the town that I stayed in Canada. Which is an amazingly generous and wonderful thing. By donating of their time, they collected the coupons, redeemed them, got the free foodstuffs, and then donated it to the food bank, which is where people living with poverty can go and get food. It's like a free shop, basically. And the really cool thing about it, and I think the great thing about London, is that the community got so on board with this that now there are collections in all 16 of London's public libraries where members of the community drop off their coupons. And then the Coupons for Hunger, which is the organization's name, they have couponathons where members of the community come together and clip coupons for hours, a couple of hours a day. You come in, maybe just over your lunch break, clip a couple of coupons, have a coffee, clip some coupons. And then they collect all their coupons and then go and redeem the offers. And they've, I think it's far over $24,000 worth of goods
Wow.
that they've already collected. Yeah, it's really, really great.
Crazy. Wow.
Put that link in there.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Description
put that
as
in, yeah. Now, what do you think are the factors that, I mean, because there are a lot of people out there who want to get into this work. They love this work, you know, they're passionate. Just say you're passionate. What are the factors do you think exist that hinder these people from actually pursuing it?
I think people have issues of confidence, that they're not sure that they can get this thing going and off the ground. I think that's a huge thing for people. I also imagine that they think that they have to have some big, grandiose plan, you know, and have it all figured out. And you really don't. Start where you are. I'd like to actually tell you about another story.
Yeah, sure.
The Aletta Foundation is another foundation started by a friend of mine. Her name's Evelyn Bingaman. Again, links in the description.
Links in the description.
And Evelyn is an anthropology student at a university in Taiwan, and worked in a very interesting community in Eyashan, which is a tiny village in Sichuan province. And going actually through the transition between being subsistence farmers and for the very first time planting crops for cash rather than to eat.
Okay.
So they've gone from a cashless economy to a cash economy, where they've gone from not being poor, not having any concept of poverty or richness, to being the poorest of the poor in one growing season, really. So a really interesting and challenging time for these people, and you know, tourism is going to come to this part of the world, but how are they going to be able to predetermine their own lives and be in control of their destiny? And education is a huge thing. And Evelyn and I worked together, and we used what the people of Eyashan are really, really good at, which is weaving. And we created a small range of clothing, which through partners we sold in Canada, and raised enough money to provide a scholarship to a student in a local village, in the local village in Eyashan. So it's a really small thing, but it became a global thing that extended from Taiwan to Canada to China, provided a scholarship, provided education, did what it was supposed to do, and it all started with an idea and a conversation and a will to make it happen. So it doesn't have to be, we didn't know where we were heading when we started off with it. We didn't have a clue what we were going to do. Evelyn knew that that this was important, that education was important for these people, and it was important if they wanted to, because she didn't want to be a helper that prescribed to them what to do.
Yes.
She wanted to create a place that could...
sort of like a platform for these people.
But we made it in a way that is, again, sustainable, that doesn't rely on donation.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, that's fantastic. Again, we'll be posting all these links in the description, so check them out. Fantastic stories. So, if you had an advice, if now I put you on the spot, these people come to you and they have these issues they point out to you, how would you suggest to them to overcome these factors that you just mentioned, the one that hinders them from actually pursuing their dreams, their ideas?
Start where you are, but start.
Okay.
Journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
First step, yes.
Talk to people who share your compassion and who can understand your view of the world. Giving someone hope sounds like an esoteric thing, but I think if somebody else understands you, when that resonates with them, when you talk about giving somebody hope or what hope means, a lot of people don't know what that means.
Okay.
But when you find those people that do, and it resonates with them, talk to them, work with those people. Start with your social problem and start with the idea to solve the social problem, and then make it sustainable.
Okay.
That's social enterprise.
Now, I'm just gonna stand in the shoes of someone who wants to start out their own social enterprise right now, right? We were talking just now, the past question was about to overcome these hindrance factors, right? In the factors that cause hindrance. But what if a social entrepreneur and a guy wants to start out this thing? What would be your advice? The first things to do so that he can create a successful, sustainable operation? He's not scared of it. He just wants to start right now.
I think it's important to understand what sustainable means, what sustainability really means.
Okay.
That means you can run this forever.
Forever, yeah.
Without, forever is a long time. You can run this in the foreseeable future.
Eternity.
In the foreseeable future,
yeah.
with the revenue that it generates by itself. So understand what sustainability means. Make sure that if you're going to start a business and it's going to be your primary thing that you're dedicating your life to, pay yourself. It's not wrong for you to pay yourself. It's not wrong for you to draw a salary from something that you've created. If that's your primary, that's your business, that's what you're doing every day, make sure that you factored in a salary for yourself, that you're getting paid in what you're doing. And make sure that you understand where your bottom line is. You can't be afraid of the business principles that underlie this. You go out there, find out what a bottom line is, find out what, before you can understand what a triple bottom line is, you need people, profit, planet, you need to understand what a bottom line is. Make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand what revenue is, profit margin. Learn what a business is. You might have to approach people, but don't be scared to approach people. Remember that you're you're doing this for a noble reason.
Fantastic. Now, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've given us. As always a pleasure talking to you. You have so much.
It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yes. So, guys, if you have any other questions, any issues, just send it to the Brownie Association, browniemediaassociation@gmail.com. It will be posted in the description. We'll also attach all the links to the NGOs that mentioned in the description, so check it out. Thank you so much again. I know you've been really
Thank you.